It's sad to learn of senseless violence. It's also sad that there's so much of it, we can't even keep up to acknowledge all the people who lose their lives to murder. What's also sad is when people decide to be outraged. For example, I wonder if those who sport hoodies saying, "I am Trayvon Martin," will now sport baseball caps and jerseys saying, "I am Christopher Lane," or wear military green saying, "I am Delbert Belton," because they were actually murdered in cold blood.
I think what happened. Propaganda.
Hey Oprah, I'll point out that Christopher Lane's death is not the same as Emmett Till's. But since you brought up such far-reaching rhetoric concerning Trayvon, which one do you think is more comparable? The cowards who tortured and killed Emmett Till made their sentiments towards blacks quite known, and they weren't very nice. James Edwards, the shooter of Lane, expressed his unfriendly sentiments towards white people, saying things like, "I knocked out 5 Wood since Zimmerman Court." Wood being the shortened version of the bigoted term peckerwood for white people. Did Zimmerman express that he hated blacks? Any tweets like that from him? Sounds like Christopher Lane's killers have more in common with Emmett Till's killers than Trayvon Martin's killer does. Anyway, we're not surprised that Al Sharpton doesn't have much to say about the murder of Delbert Belton or Christopher Lane, though it's right up Al Sharpton's alley. Sharpton has claimed that he's dismayed by the violence of young blacks. So how about this case where murder is a way to keep from being bored? Is that violent enough for you? Not only was boredom a factor, so was bigotry. Sharpton should have burned rubber in his race baiter buggy and been on the scene with the quickness. But no. But I wouldn't at all be surprised that if people start expressing a growing outrage for the death of Delbert Belton and Christopher Lane, that's when Al Sharpton will come out and say how racist certain people are for being sad about the death of Christopher Lane, but not sad over Trayvon Martin. It's sad to learn that a person lost their life. It doesn't matter what ethnicity they are. But apparently it matters to the left-wing media, because it matters so much to the left-wing media to keep people divided that they even tried to make George Zimmerman out to be white, to keep the rift between blacks and whites. As long as they can keep that rift, they can keep over 90% of the black vote, while also keeping enough of the white guilt vote. The reason why the left-wing media is short on telling you the ethnicities of those involved in such murders is because they can't come off like they're judging blacks. They have to pander to blacks and coddle them to keep them tolerant of being their voter stock. They have to be judgmental of whites to make blacks feel like they're on their side. This also satisfies the self-righteousness of the white guilt voter. Belton and Lane's death won't receive as much outrage through the left-wing media. They're white. And it would be racist of them and an insult to the black community to make it look like they mattered. Sharpton can't say anything about it because he doesn't want to look like a sellout carrying that a white person got murdered, and by appearing to look like he'd have to condemn the blacks involved in their murder. I'm AlfonZo Rachel with ZoNATION, and hey, Obama, since you're half white, if you had a son, would he look like Christopher Lane? But no.